Okay, so this is not going to blow everybody's mind, right? Because a lot of my friends on here know this already. But I'm Virginia, and I'm 32 years old, and I did 11 years in prison. So, I know, crazy. And I pretty much have been to every compound there is to go to. There's not that many in Florida. A lot of people don't realize it, but there's like 100, maybe, or so, men's prisons, okay? There's only now Gadsden, Lowell, which includes like the main and the annex. We're going to put them together, okay? The reception center, Homestead, 4, okay? There used to be Hernando. And then like before all that, there used to be another place called Broward. There used to be a Hillsboro. Okay, but those ones are shut down now. And the Hernando one is a men's prison, which was a big deal when that happened. But anyways, so there was just somebody like running up the stairs behind me. But anyways, so okay, sorry, there was like a lot going on. But anyways, so there's only 4, right? Women's prisons in Florida, and I've seen them all. And I wasn't at all of them because I never went to Homestead, but I did go there for medical when I was at work release, which is like a whole nother thing we can talk about. Terrible and great time in my life. Terrible because you're half in, half out. Like you're half free. You go to work with regular people in the free world, but you're wearing an ankle monitor. You feel like you're being treated less than by the employers because they know that you have to do whatever they tell you to do or you're going to get sent back to prison, which is a terrible situation to be in. So that's like a whole nother thing. But the good part was you have a cell phone. You can talk to people on the phone. You can call them and they can call you, which is a huge deal because when you're in prison, only you can call people. Okay? So to be able to be like, oh, just call me later and have somebody else be able to reach out to you was insane. After 10 years of me being the one to have to call people, to have the ability to have people call me was like just monumental. Texting, great, all of that. So no social media allowed, though, when you're at work release. Did I still go on social media? Yes. But that's besides the point. But yeah, so when I tell people that I've been to prison, like, there's always a lot of questions. And whenever I sit by myself and, like, try to do this kind of content, like, it's so hard for me because, like, the things that people ask me are not even the things that I would think about. Because there's just, that's, like, the surface level, like, first questions that people ask are not really, like, getting into the complexity and the deepness of what being in prison, especially for 11 years, looks like. A lot of people are just like, I don't know how you did it. Like, it doesn't, I would die. Like, okay, first of all, people always say that about situations that seem extreme and they've never been in. Like, I lost my mom. People are like, oh, I don't know what I would do if I lost my mom. Well, I'll tell you what you do. You just have to, like, get through it. Like, there's no, like, I'm just going to quit life because, you could do that. But you can't. Like, you have to just keep moving forward and keep pushing, And basically, I feel like my response to prison was definitely like a freeze, fight, or flight. I definitely just fought through it, not physically all the time, but like you're in survival mode. Imagine there's a hurricane. That relates to me because I'm in Florida, but imagine there's a hurricane and you just have to do like emergency situation type things, or there's been an accident, or any kind of situation where you're in survival mode. That was prison for me, especially initially. After a while, though, you get used to it. You get used to the routine. You get used to the officers, and you find your way, and you figure it out, right? And you just make the best of it. For me, like, the way I got through my time was music. Briefly, occasionally working out. Like, there was periods of my life in there where I worked out more than others. Girlfriends, of course. They pass the time really easily. And getting involved in, like, different activities. So, like, I was in Toastmasters, I was in AA book clubs, NA book clubs, just, like, anything that I could sign up for, I did it. I was a teacher's aide for a while. That was fun. But you just have to stay active and keep your mind going. And for me, like, those social interaction clubs and like reading were what helped me get through my time. And of course, music. And I used to get really petty, but like, I'd be like, if you see me on my bunk with both headphones in my zone, like, I probably 99% sure don't want to talk to anybody. Because like in there, you have no personal space. You know, you're on your bunk. Anybody can see you on your bunk and can just walk up to you. You know, it's an open bay scenario. Like, there are 2-man cells at a couple of the prisons, like 3 of them. 3 of them? 3 of them. And you have to be a higher level security to be in those. And I have been in the 2-man cells, but the majority of the housing is open bay. So you walk into a room and it's just like a bunch of bunks in a room. Big room. Like a human house, warehouse, if you will. Which I will take you guys back to my first day in prison and like how I thought and felt that day, because I didn't know that's what it was going to be like. I didn't think otherwise, because county jail is like that too, but I also still kind of had this preconceived notion in my head what prison looked like, and it's like in the movies, you know, like the 2-man cells and all of that, and it's just not what it was. And like, so anyways, you have no privacy. And so whenever you're going through something, or like you just need some you time where you're just alone, you don't have that. Because you have a side bunkie next to you that's like less than 2 feet away. You have your bunkie above you or below you, depending, and there just is no privacy. And so I would just hope, you know, and pray that people would understand that if I have both my headphones in, that I really just don't want to talk, and just want to like be by myself. But, you know, some people get the social cues, and then some people still want to come up and ask you for a scoop of creamer or some sugars or something, and like, or come vent to you about their day, which that is one good thing about women's prison, is like we do have each other to talk to. Whereas I don't know if men really, like, I don't really see them in there just really, I don't know, maybe they do, but I just really don't see them in there like supporting each other and like talking about their kids and everything. I'm sure they do, but I just don't think it's to the same level that women do. But, you know, hey, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't in men's prison. So, just from the stories I hear, though, it just sounds like a different kind of experience. But, yeah, so people ask me, like, you know, what did you do? What was it like? And basically it was like doing the same thing over and over again. Very Groundhog's Day. But, you know, the guards do keep it interesting. They like to switch up the rules out of nowhere. I was even at a compound where they switched up count time, which count time, generally speaking, happens at the same exact time every day. So like Monday through Friday, you have your 7:30 a.m. count. That's the very first count of the day. It's like kind of deemed like the most important one besides like your last count of the day, because that's the count where you have to be up, your bed needs to be made, inspection ready, and it's just how you start the day is that 7:30 count. Okay, boom. Then you have your next count at 12:30. That's your afternoon count. Some compounds, like, you know, you'll be at work or at school for that count, and they count you there. And then the rest of, you know, the compounds on their beds for that count. And then you have like a 4:30 count. This is where it gets weird because of like daylight savings times and stuff. This time of day does get weird. But 4:30 count, generally. Okay, sometimes it's 3:30. It just depends where you're at, what's going on. And then you have a 7:30 count, and then master roster count at 10. Now, you kind of like rely on these counts. You plan your whole day around the counts. You know where you're going to be at between them, during them. Like, you kind of base your day around them, okay? And count, in case you don't know, could be like 5 minutes. In a perfect world, I just don't understand why it's not 5 minutes. Like, 5 minutes is what I feel like count should be, and what I feel like any normal human being would imagine count is. But it's at least 30 minutes, at least. And can go up for hours. Hours that you're stuck on your bed, generally, most of the time, for these counts. And you're really not supposed to be doing anything during them. No talking, no eating, no writing. Like, depending on where you are at, like, there has been times where you weren't allowed to have anything out on your bed during count, which is insane, because you've got me on my bed for hours. with nothing productive to do, and I'm not allowed to talk to anybody. It's like really